I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, have a look at what's in the floor here. It's that nasty old HP system. I mean, that thing is filthy. I mean, I've already cleaned out the air compressor, but as you may know, it's just sticky all over. I mean, look at my floor. Yeah, it's a mess down there, but look at the spots that's left on my floor. Now I'm going to have to clean up. I had it sitting there, and I had it sitting over there as well for a little bit, and it just left these nice black spots on my carpet. So, that's why it's been sitting on the floor on its side for the past little bit. But today we're going to actually be tearing that thing down. So if you hadn't watched the previous video, the motherboard in this machine is bad. It's a Phenom X3, first gen Phenom. Sticky. Perhaps this is why it's just... perhaps this is why it's messed up my floor. It's just disgusting. I mean, just have a look. It's disgusting. You know what I think is going on here? I think the rubber feet on this thing have like disintegrated. Yeah, it don't smell like cigarette tar. It's just the rubber feet on this thing have just disintegrated to nothing. And they're leaving these nasty stains wherever you set the thing. So that might be pretty fun getting off my carpet. It's like black paint almost. It's just disgusting. It's just nasty. Perhaps this thing was perhaps this thing had been stored out in a shed or something for a little bit. But heck, the computers that I've stored out in the shed here, the feet are just fine. Haven't had any issues with the feet disintegrating, but dadgum. See, before we tear this thing down, I wanted to show you guys this. It seems like this stuff will just wipe off, but yeah, try saying that for getting it off my carpet. It'll probably take some pretty good cleaning to get that off. Yeah, it's like the again, it's like the freaking feet have just disintegrated to nothing. The reason why I'm parting this out is because the client that I've been building those AMD Ryzen 3 2200G systems for, they want me to build one more for them. So what's going on is the machine that they've traded in to have upgraded is a Dell. It's a Dell Dimension 9100, which is definitely not going to be compatible. So I'm just going to take in that machine and use this chassis as something to upgrade off of. Has a decent light on 300 watt power supply. Good case. Already has a SATA optical drive in it, so that's good. Alright, since I got most of the crap off the bottom of this thing, well, most of it. Let's go and start tearing this thing down. Okay, so I guess we'll start by pulling up the motherboard, and in case somebody wants to say, oh, the motherboard's bad because it didn't have any RAM in it. Well, it did. I've already pulled it out. So yeah, motherboard is in fact dead. I mean, when you go power this thing up, when you actually plug in the power cord to the back of the machine, it automatically starts up, and the hard drive activity and power indication LEDs are both dim all the time. And so I'm going to disconnect the power supply while I'm at it and everything. So as I was saying, both the indicator LEDs were just always dim. the CPU fan and the rear case fan would start up when you start a machine. It would run pretty fast, and eventually they would coast to a complete stop. Yeah, just weird stuff like that. Motherboard has a lot of failed caps. Caps could be directly related to the issue or not. Depends. Get this cable out of here. Save those two cables because I'll probably use them in the next build. So as for the Phenom X3, I think it's an 8450. Not sure I'm gonna do with it just yet. I might actually toss it onto the Cube Pure Plexi. Now I'm not sure what the performance of it will be versus the processor that's currently in that machine, which is the Athlon 2 X2, I think 245E or something like that. One of the power efficient CPUs. Uses only like 40, has like a 45 watt TDP. Well, this one has like a 95 watt TDP. So I might toss it into the Plex and see if it can overclock. I don't know. Just an idea. Pop all these connectors loose. This thing has a crap ton of USB connectors. Okay. Yeah, we'll say that the voltage regulator module of this motherboard, it looks like there's been some discoloration. Like things have gotten a bit hot. Which, I guess I can understand why. Now I know the motherboard on the Plexi is rated for up to 95 watts of a TDP of a processor, but it's kind of questionable whether this one was rated for that. Because it looked like it stressed the VRM pretty hard running this thing. Yeah, that pocket media drive bay is kind of in the way. So I'm going to pull the case fan out for a moment. So with that out, the motherboard should come right out. And it does. Set that to the side. Reinstall the case fan. The new motherboard should clear just fine with it in place, so we should be fine in that regards. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out the hard drive. Okay, so there's the 640 gigabyte hard drive, which is still, even the hard drive has stuff stuck all over it, and there's still some dust on the back side of it that I didn't get. So wonderful. There's still a little bit of dust here and there in this thing. Nasty old machine. Doesn't help when your pancake air compressor can't keep a decent charge when you're blowing these things out. I mean, it airs up to 150 psi, but it loses it very quick when you go to use a air attachment. That's the only annoying thing about that compressor. Okay, so I'm going to pull this hard drive. And of course I'll have to do a disk wipe on it. So even if the hard drive is still good, I'm going to still go ahead and get a new drive for this machine when it comes time to upgrade. It'll probably be a 500 gig drive, but it'll be fine for their needs. Yeah, because the hard drive in this thing was manufactured in 2008, which was 11 years ago. Not the craziest of putting an 11-year-old hard drive in a much newer system. Now, of course, they say the optical drive is just as old, but I'll be testing it out, and if it tests good, I'll just go ahead and keep it in place. Which I will actually have to pull it out to do the testing on it. By testing, all I really have to do is just hook it up to the plexi and test it like that using the SATA interface. Just hook it up, pop in one of my DVDs, make sure it reads and writes okay, and run my laser lens cleaner through it. Definitely do that. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and pop this back into place and remount the screws. I'm also going to go ahead and pop the motherboard screws back into place inside this case. That way they'll be there when it comes time to install the motherboard. They're pretty standardized screws. I have a whole bunch of them anyway, but and what I'm also going to do with this thing is, before I go to mount the new motherboard and stuff, I'm going to take the opportunity to try to clean this thing out a little better. Just take the air compressor to it again, get any remaining dust out, and I'll probably also take some paper towels and some good cleaner like glass cleaner or something in here and just wipe things down as good as I can. That way this thing don't smell like a cigarette when the case gets reused and it goes to its new home. I mean, it'll actually be in a business, but so I'm also going to go ahead and pop off the front bezel here. And I'm sure I'll have some dust waiting on me inside there. Well, of course. This thing is disgusting. That's why I'm saying I'll go at it again with the air compressor for a second time and just try to get this thing good and clean. I may also do it for the other machine as well, that other HP. I probably won't get it on video though, but I mean, the most spectacular part has already been done. Because this thing was absolutely just filthy before. I mean, it's still on, it's still on the freaking DVD drive and everything. So, yeah. I'm going to pop out this I/O shield plate. I'll show you guys a little something here. Now, I don't know if this was done during manufacturing of this I/O shield or what, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but look at all this discoloration. Like, especially right in here. It's like the thing got super hot. You can really, when you get at this right angle, you can really see it. I don't know if this happened when this machine was in service or if it happened when this I/O shield was being manufactured. I'm not really certain about that. That's kind of weird, really, to be honest. Yeah, I figured I'd show that to you. So yeah, this thing's gonna need another cleaning to really get it more desirable to do a build in. And I'm probably going to also do away with that HP Pocket Media Drive Bay. I mean, what's the point of it being there? It's not like that. Not like those were really. I don't think those were very popular. Especially nowadays, I don't think they're really common. Maybe it's something that was more common back in the Windows Vista days, but not really much anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and test this drive and make sure it's good. But other than that, that pretty much sums up for this video. We've tore this thing down. And yeah, we'll take another look at the motherboard, shall we? Before I completely end this. You can always get a better view of the motherboard when it's out of the case. Just look up in here, and you may see what I was talking about previously. Like, compare this part of the board, like right here, with this right here. Especially right here, this is really a hot spot. Right in here. It's like that Phenom X3 really pushed this motherboard to its limits. And compare it to the motherboards on the Plexi, which is also rated for a 95 watt TDP processor. Now the chokes and stuff on this one are different than the other one. And this motherboard also has solid capacitors, not regular electrolytics. Well, these are better quality capacitors than what was on that other motherboard. So you got that. You got what looks to be a better design. And if I really want to, I could actually put heat sinks on those on these right here to keep them cool. Okay, I figured some of you guys would be interested in watching me harvest the CPU off this motherboard, so I figured I'd record it. Why not? This thing, for 11 years, this thing's been on here. And it's definitely on there too. It is on there. Jeez. I wasn't expecting it to be this freaking difficult. Wow. See, I had to pull up on the heatsink, and of course it pulled the CPU right out of the socket. I mean, this thing is just fused on here. And I'm not a fan of when this happens, because it can make removal quite tricky, because you're trying to remove the thing without damaging the processor. I mean, it is on there. See, I'm trying to pull it up without damaging the CPU, and that is proving to be quite difficult. I will say from previous experience, the PCB that's used on these processors is pretty freaking durable. But there we are. It usually, once you get it in just the right spot, it'll pop right loose. Now I can see why this one was fused on there so well. It's because of the heatsink design. A lot of thermal paste, as you can see on the corners, was up inside of here, and it just made for a really solid connection. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the motherboard. I'm going to put the CPU back in the motherboard's socket. That way it's secured to something pretty well, and I'm going to try to clean this thing up a little bit. Yeah, I tell you, it gets a little nerve-wracking when this happens. When the CPU fuses itself to the heatsink and you just can't get it loose. When you try to remove the heatsink, it pulls the whole CPU out of the board. I mean, this stuff here it's just caked up on there and everything. Take some of this. Some rubbing alcohol. Okay, there it is. It took quite a bit of hard scrubbing and some rubbing alcohol to get that clean, but finally. So what happens when you have a decade, when you have thermal compound that's been in service for over 10 years. Assuming this thing has been running a lot of time, which it probably hasn't been. But you still get the idea. It's been on there for that long, and over time, especially with hotter running CPUs, it can be kind of tough to get off. It's still kind of dirty, but definitely better than what it was, I must say. See if you can get a good read of that. So it's the Phenom X3 8450. And I got a little CPU holder here. I was going to pop that into place. I tell you, it's nice how AMD CPUs from socket 754 up through AM3, no, excuse me, AM4. Use practically the same exact size processor package. So yeah, this is the holder that came with a Ryzen APU, and you can see it holds this older Phenom just fine, no problem. So yeah, this motherboard will be getting scrapped. I'll probably be saving like the heatsink and stuff like that off of it, but yeah, motherboard's pretty much junk. So yeah, that concludes parting this thing out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Well guys, that's it for this one. But it doesn't have to be. There's plenty more videos on the channel to check out. Also, if you liked the video, please click the like button. And if you absolutely hated it, there is the alternative button as well. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. And remember to click the bell so that we get notified of all updates. Also, if you're interested in things aside from computers and technology, check out my second channel. It's CubeComp MTDX. Over there you'll find videos about weather, elevators, bicycling, and pretty much whatever else I figure out to upload. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for your support.